Hello, welcome back to SCI Teach. This is a redox titration practical video involving potassium tetraoxomanganate 7 as KMNO4 and oxalic acid. So if you understand this video, you're going to be able to pass your practical exams, theory exams too, calculations concerning redox titrations. You will know the precautions you should take, and you can even answer objective questions in your examination. First, what is a redox titration? A redox titration is a titration that involves oxidation and reduction reactions occurring at the same time. So in this video, potassium permanganate KMNO4 will act as the oxidizing agent, while oxalic acid will act as the reducing agent. And what's the aim of this experiment? The aim is to determine the concentration of potassium tetraoxomanganate 7, that's KMNO4, to determine the concentration of KMNO4 solution using standard oxalic acid solution. Okay, or you to determine the concentration of oxalic acid using a standard KMNO4, vice versa. All right, so you know the normal titration, you use an acid versus a base. One is known, the other is not, so you're finding the concentration of the other that is not known. So that's the same case here. This one, the oxidizing agent against the reducing agent. One is known, the other is not, so you determine the concentration of the one that is unknown. That's the aim of this experiment. And you'll be needing apparatus like burette, pipette, whether 20 or 25 cm cube pipette. Burette is 50 cm cube, and conical flask, funnel to fill in the that the KMNO4 or whatever in the burette. You need a white tile so that you easily observe color change, and a beaker. Then you need a retort stand and a clamp. And the chemicals we're going to use here are potassium tetraoxomanganate 7, we call it potassium permanganate, KMNO4. We also need oxalic acid solution, that's H2C2O4. If it's hydrated, then times 2 moles of water. Okay, now we also need a dilute tetraoxosulfate 6 acid. You see, redox titration is carried out in acidic medium, so we need to add something that will add more H+ ions to the solution. So in the oxalic acid, we are going to add dilute H2SO4 to make it an acidic medium, so that the reaction will go on to the end. Okay, also without the acid, the manganese 7 ions may form brown precipitates, and these brown precipitates will affect your results. Your results will become inaccurate because to affect the color change at the end point. Okay, now why can't we use any other acid? Especially, why can't we use HCl? Okay, it's a very important question, and you know your exams, you may be asked questions like this, especially in question 3, theory of practicals, stuff like that. So a question may come, why can't HCl be used? Simple, because KMNO4 will oxidize the chloride ions in HCl, and when that happens, the reactions will give you wrong titer values. So you can't use HCl, you can only use H2SO4. Okay, now oxalic acid, when oxalic acid is going to react, the reaction will be slow when the oxalic acid is cold. So reaction is slow when it's cold. So you know your normal knowledge of reactions that are slow, you increase either temperature or other stresses or other parameters. But if you increase temperature, the reaction goes faster. So we are going to increase the temperature of this oxalic acid so that the reaction will become faster. That's to say, we're going to warm the oxalic acid before we use it. Normally, the oxalic acid will be in the this is what you will pipette, the 25 mils or 20 mils. So you will put KMNO4 in the burette and then put the oxalic acid, pipette 25 or 20 cm cube of the oxalic acid into a beaker. Then the oxalic acid in the beaker should be warmed. Put it on top of a Bunsen burner or any heat source and warm it to about 40 or 50 degrees Celsius. What it means is don't let it boil. Okay, once you start seeing fog, those fumes coming out, then it's warm enough, and then you carry out the titration. Okay, why, I repeat, why is it heated? Why do you need to heat that? Because I said oxalic acid is slow at room temperature. The reaction between KMNO4 and oxalic acid is slow at room temperature. So you need to heat the mixture to about 40 to 60 degrees Celsius to increase the rate of reaction and to obtain a sharp end point. Okay, now why also do we not need an indicator in this reaction? We discovered that when I called out what we need, I didn't add an indicator. In redox reactions, especially that concerning KMNO4, KMNO4 is a self-indicator. The color of KMNO4 is dark purple. So because it is dark purple, and when KMNO4 is potassium tetraoxomanganate 7, manganate 7 ions have that dark purple color. And when these manganate 7 ions drop into a reducing agent, the manganate 7 ions are reduced to manganate 2 ions. These manganate 2 ions are colorless. So which means every time a KMNO4 or KMNO4 drops into the oxalic acid, the manganate 7 ions, which is purple, is reduced to manganate 2 ions, which is colorless. So it means the purple color disappears. So with that, you don't need an indicator to help you know when the color changes. You just know that you keep adding the manganate 7, it keeps disappearing as you're swirling, up to a point where it does not disappear again. You see a faint pink color, which means it has been completely neutralized. At that point, you stop the titration. So you see the color changed to a faint pink color. You're going to see it practically done. I'm just teaching you now so that when you see it, you understand. So it doesn't need an indicator because it is a self-indicator. All right. In other words, I'm saying KMNO4 changes color during the reaction. So before the end point, the purple color will keep disappearing as it drops into the oxalic acid or any other reducing agents. Could be iron sulfate. Now it's oxalic acid. As it's dropping, it's changing color. When it reaches the end point, you will see a permanent faint pink color will appear. So that's what an indicator would have done. So KMNO4 does that perfectly for itself. So we call KMNO4 a self-indicator. Okay, now what are you going to do? The procedure. We are going to first rinse the burette with what will be in the burette. KMNO4 will be in the burette. If you put KMNO4 in the pipette and the oxalic acid drops into the pipette, the KMNO4 will not change color. So it's best to put KMNO4 in the burette so that it will be the one dropping into the oxalic acid and the oxalic acid changes its color to colorless. So put the KMNO4 solution in the burette, a dark purple solution in the burette. Then you pipette oxalic acid into a conical flask. Okay, when you do that, you add about 10 mils, about 1/3 of your test tube of sulfuric acid, H2SO4, into the contents in the conical flask. That's into the oxalic acid. Just add a little sulfuric acid into the oxalic acid, and then you warm. Okay. All right. So you have to then make sure that the meniscus of the content in the burette sits on the 0 mark so that you avoid error due to parallax reading. Okay, so when you add the H2SO4 into the solution, you warm it gently to about 50 degrees Celsius. ensure it doesn't boil. If it boils, you have to leave it to cool down a little before you start. Okay, then you start titrating. Allow the KMNO4 in the burette to start dropping into the oxalic acid, and remember to swirl as it's dropping. So it's dropping as you're swirling. You see the purple color keeps disappearing until you reach the end point where you see a pink color that stays. It doesn't disappear anymore. Stop it there. Don't allow it to become dark purple again. Let it be that faint pink, and then that's your end point. All right, so in summary, I said the purple color will keep disappearing when the KMNO4 keeps dropping, which means the reaction is still taking place. When the purple color does not disappear anymore, instead you see a faint pink color, that is you reaching the end point. That's the end of the titration. You stop there. If a gas is evolved during that reaction, then that's carbon dioxide gas. That could be a question you'll be asked. That's carbon dioxide gas that is released. So when you stop there, you read the what's in the volume of KMNO4 used from the in the burette, and record that. Then repeat the whole equation, and you then record them, and then find the average titer and solve. Now the ionic equation for this reaction is 2MnO4 minus plus 5C2O4 2 minus plus 16H plus yields 2Mn2 plus 10 CO2 plus 8 moles of water. Okay, this is a redox balancing redox reaction. So I balanced it and I showed you now, in case you need it. Of course you will. So after you've carried out the practical, you need to solve some problems. So I'm going to give you a sample question. All right, let's say we have a question like this: 25 cm cube of a solution of oxalic acid H2C2O4 was acidified with excess dilute sulfuric acid H2SO4 and titrated against KMNO4 solution in a burette. If 2.80 cm cube, the one I had in my average titer, if 2.80 cm cube of KMNO4 was required for complete reaction, calculate the concentration of the KMNO4 solution if the oxalic acid solution is 0.02 mole per dm cube. This question has given us the concentration of oxalic acid as 0.02. Okay, and we are asked to find concentration of KMNO4. Remember, now you remember that I said that the ionic equation is very important, because the ionic equation will help you know that in the equation there are 2 moles of manganate ions reacting with 5 moles of the oxalate ions. Okay, so the ratio of manganate to oxalate ions is 2:5. Okay, so you will use this as you want to calculate. Now remember, you're asked to find the concentration of KMNO4. You are given concentration of the oxalate acid. Remember, in normal titration, you are given concentration of either the acid or base. Then you are asked to find the concentration of the base or acid, the one that wasn't given. In this case, we are given concentration of the oxalate ions or acid. We are asked to find the concentration of the KMNO4, potassium permanganate. So we use the formula N equals to CV, number of moles equals to concentration times volume. We're looking for concentration, so we would make concentration subject of formula, but we will realize we don't have number of moles. So let's first tackle that and solve for number of moles. So we know the concentration is of the oxalate ions or acid is 0.02 mole per dm cube, and the volume is 25 cm cube of oxalic acid that we pipetted. So you convert that to dm cube and you have 0.025 dm cube, but we don't have N. So we say N equals to CV. N will be 0.02 times that 0.025. So we now have N, which is 0.0005 mole. But it's not what we need, because we didn't use the mole ratio. So we have to use the mole ratio, knowing that permanganate is 2 and oxalate ions is 5. So that means that the moles of potassium permanganate will be 2/5 of the number of moles you just found. That's 2/5 times 0.0005 mole dm cube, and that will give you 0.0002 mole per dm cube. So now that you have that, we can then calculate the concentration of potassium permanganate using the formula C equals to N over V. It was N equals to CV, so we make C the subject of formula. Now that we have N, and we say C equals to N all over V. So our N, remember, is 0.0002. We put that the numerator all over the V we have, which is 0.002 dm cube. We converted the volume from cm cube to dm cube. We had 2.8 cm cube when we titrated our average titer, so we converted to dm cube and we have 0.0028 dm cube, and then we have our answer to be 0.0714 mole per dm cube. Okay, that will be the concentration of the KMnO4 in this our equation. So you will be asked a question like that. You finish practicals and they ask you, okay, the question can give you the question will give you the concentration of the oxalate acids, oxalic acid, and you'll be asked to find the concentration of the permanganate, potassium permanganate, which you will calculate using this formula, N equals to CV or C equals to N over V. But if you don't have the number of moles, you have to find that first, and remember to convert things to dm cube. All right, so it's important for you to know that the mole ratio is very, very important. Many candidates will fail because they forgot to that the ratio between KMnO4 and oxalic acid is 2:5. Okay, once you get the mole ratio correctly, the calculation becomes very easily. So don't jump that step. Okay, so it's important for you to balance the equation. If it's not balanced for you in the exam, you balance the equation. So remember how to balance redox reactions, redox equations. If you don't, you comment. I will give you an idea how to. And then also remember to calculate for the mole calculation, and remember the correct ratio and the unit conversions from cm cube to dm cube, and the final answer, put it in the correct unit. And if you do this, there is no way you're not passing your exam. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like and share the videos to everyone who loves chemistry, so that as we are passing, they are passing also.